Pat Russell, a look at the tail of the tape now. Hallback with a slight edge in height, a 1 pound weight pull, and a little bit bigger advantage in the reach. They're both over 30 years old. Hallback says she feels like she's 21 still. We get ready for what should be a very interesting fight. We are ready for round one, and here we go. Terry Blair, as you see right away, coming out in her southpaw stance. Chevelle Hallback, an orthodox fighter with a record of 25-5-1, but one of those 5 losses to Holly Holm, who's with us right here. Good combination from Chevelle Hallback to begin the round.
These girls sure can throw some power punches.
Now, of course, Holly, when you fought Chevelle Hallback, you used lateral movement, a lot of movement. That's not Blair's style, so what could she do to win?
Well, I think that, Blair has a lot of power, and she's been in the ring with other fighters that stand and punch, and both of them, you have to be grounded to be able to throw your power. You can't have your feet off the floor. That's where your power comes from. So you need to have a little bit of movement, try and get around their power, but then you got to set for your own. So a little bit of movement and then set down for your power. A little bit of fakes and feints on the way in, maybe, if she's not going to be moving side to side.
Frank, there wasn't much feeling out in this first round. They went right to it.
This is what amazes me about female boxing. You know, so about the males, it takes the first round, the first 3 minutes. Even in the second round, sometimes they fill it out. They both come out here swinging for not for the fences, but definitely out there swinging to let the opponent know, hey, look, I'm here.
Right.
And I really like Chevelle's style of her head motion and her large movement, but it seems to me how a lot of times when people have that lot of head movement, like Chelle does, she just keeps her jab hand.
Oh, yeah. And, even in the interviews, Blair was saying that she was going to be looking for that jab hand that comes back low. So you never know, she might start timing that after a few rounds.
You can see a high volume of punches. The last fight for Chevelle Hallback was the loss to Holly Holm, but her previous fight, which came a year and a half prior to that, was a unanimous decision win over a very good fighter, Belinda Laracuente. And she really felt that layoff affected her against Holly.
Up the bell, lady.
Blair pushing the action. That's what she said she'd do. She'd try to push the pace, but she's been met with a lot of offense from Chevelle Hallback. And the two wind up and let it fly into round one. That was a red-hot first round. We go into round number 2. Chevelle Hallback in the gold trunks. Terry Blair in the black trunks. Terry Blair, her record not impressive overall, 9-12-2. But you look at that and you wonder, how could this woman have beaten one of the top fighters in all of women's boxing, Samaya Anani, not once, but twice, and she stopped her both times.
And I think she is the only female to have stopped Samaya Anani twice. So, you really can't count her out. She's got some great power and some experience still, even though, she's got some losses, that's still a lot of experience there for the record.
But she, like Kelsey Jeffries, who also goes by the Road Warrior nickname in our next fight, been willing to just go on the road, fight in fighters' hometowns, that type of thing. And she says she just kind of likes to get out there and really test herself.
And that's a big testament, too, to her heart and dedication to the sport, because it's hard to go into someone else's hometown and fight. And it's hard for a lot of guys just to go out and fight, let alone go someplace that's unfamiliar to you and do it and show up and be on the game all the time.
She keeps pressing the pace. Is that the right formula for her, do you think, Holly? Terry Blair?
I think that with Terry Blair, that's always been the way she's fought. And I know that when I fought her, she didn't slow down even in round 10. So it might be her way of wearing her opponent down. We'll see as the rounds come on.
A little punch, real short punch by Blair. She was backing out.
And she's not hitting solid. She's not getting full punches in there. She is getting glancing blows, but she's starting to get a lot more this round than she did in the first round.
Definitely.
So we get back again and talking about the timing and the positioning. I think she's found something in Chevelle that maybe we haven't even seen yet about the way Chevelle's moving and how she's picking it out, so that way Blair's having to find that spot, which could be a reason for so many knockouts this round.
Coming to the end of round 2, scheduled for 8. All right, round 3 scheduled for 8, lightweight division. Chevelle Hallback in the gold trunks, and it's Terry Blair in the silver and black. We've seen 2 very good rounds. Hallback seemed to dominate the first round with her sharper punching, but Blair fought much better in round number 2. And they are exchanging.
Hallback, after every combination, a lot of times, every time she'll end with coming up with that hook on her left side. So Blair, she keeps that hand up, she's going to protect herself from that punch coming at her.
When Terry Blair beat Samaya Anani the first time, Anani was undefeated. Stopped her in 10 rounds. A year later, beat her again in 9. Said I just kept pushing her, and finally she wore out.
That was a huge, both of those were huge wins for Blair. You know, she was saying the second fight even more nerve-wracking than the first because she didn't want people to think that was a fluke, you know, her first fight with Hanani. So she had to go out there and really prove herself, you know, even more the second time and stopped her again.
Frank, a little more movement from Hallback in this round.
Yeah, but she's also punching with the movement as opposed to just moving for moving's sake, like slip punches. She's actually throwing stuff back in the middle of it, so that's really hard to deal with. Is that as she moves her head, like, okay, well, she's just moving, let me pick a spot. As you go to throw, you're getting hit in the middle of it. So for Blair, it's going to create a whole new problem this round.
So it's actually Hallback who has adjusted, made the first adjustment in this fight.
Yeah, the first real big noticeable adjustment.
And it's very effective for movement. That can actually tire your opponent out more than you think. Swinging and missing can make you real tired.
Like everybody else growing up, a big Muhammad Ali fan, you know, my age group is what we follow. We're way older than you, how you should wonder.
Oh, I still follow Muhammad Ali.
And his biggest thing was, like, it takes more energy out of your opponent to make him miss you than it does for you to block his punches. Just get out of the way.
Definitely.
You know?
Blair winding up, looking for something to happen with one big shot as we come to the end of round 3. The period let us glom off their glamour a little bit.
Nice and dry in this corner, Coach. Nice and dry.
Everyone's really nice, including Chris Rose, even though he has better hair than I do.
All right, round 4, scheduled for 8. We saw a noticeable adjustment from Chevelle Hallback. More lateral movement in the last round. Seemed to work well. Blair could not mix it up as much as she wanted to in that last round. Blair likes to play to the crowd, though. At the end of each round, she kind of comes over and works the crowd a little bit.
Yeah, she's enjoying herself in there, and that's, you know, that's a true fighter. She loves to be in there and be in the fight.
Right. Enjoy the combat.
This movement is very effective for Chevelle Hallback.
Don't cuff her behind that head.
Chevelle, by the way, used to be a running back in women's tackle football. And a linebacker, she pointed out as well.
You know, she did say in the interviews that, you know, that football, her body was a lot tougher. But of course, you've got 10 other women, you know, trying to hit you all at the same time as opposed to just one with gloved fists on.
Oh yeah, like she said, you've got 2 fists coming at you in boxing, and in football, they're picking you up and slamming on you, falling on you. I'd imagine you'd be a lot more sore from that.
So, you know, she stopped here. She stopped the movement a little bit, and Blair's trying to pick her apart, you know, a little bit more. She's not moving to her left as much as she was. She's starting to get caught with that left hand a little bit. You know, it's hard to see for you folks at home, but, you know, the person when you're dealing with 2 unorthodox style guys, a left-hander versus a right-hander, the person with their foot on the outside is going to win the battle of those times. When Chevelle was moving, her foot was on the outside, and she was cutting Blair off. Now Blair's cutting her off.
That's right, establishing that foot, very important to the extent that there hasn't been much love-making in this fight so far.
Yeah, none at all. Both people are throwing, both people are trying to get after it. And really, you know, Blair just got, you know, really just started getting overwhelmed a little bit that last round because in the very beginning, because there's so much movement, when Chevelle slowed down, Blair started getting back into it again. You know, I think, you know, at least from a corner standpoint, Chevelle needs to keep moving, keep stepping to her left to get away from
well, you get on
left hand.
you get on the outside there. You take away all of your opponent's angles, and they can't counter with anything. So you can kind of have your way with them.
And the good thing is too is even if Blair hits you with that jab, her jab really isn't that powerful, strong, knock you out kind of style of jab. It's more of a make you stop moving so I can set up a power punch. So even if Chevelle gets hit by the jab, it's not going to do much other than be annoying.
Right.
You saw Frank Trigg's scorecard there. He's got Hallback up by 2 points.
Uh-oh.
Something's bothering her. Well, Holly, would you like to explain what that was?
You know what? I don't wear those. I have a different kind, and for those reasons alone, I think they're very uncomfortable.
A chest protector.
Might as well kick it out of the ring.
Good right uppercut from Hallback on the inside. Now Blair pushing the action, pushes Hallback back into the ropes, and Hallback going to fight her way off the ropes.
I'll tell you what, this is very action-packed, and they keep going.
Hold down on those heads, Brady.
3 little pity pad jabs from Blair, but those were just there to move Hallback back to the ropes once again. And Blair pushing forward. Blair's loading up here, Frank.
Yeah, she's starting to find that left a little bit more, and that's really throwing off Chevelle.
Blair's power beginning to
movement
make
there.
itself present and felt in this round. Hallback trying to move, a lot of upper body movement from Chevelle to try to get underneath the punches, and now she's punching back and staggers Blair momentarily. Good combination from Hallback.
This is a really hard round to judge here. I think
Scorching
Chevelle might
shot to
pull it
the
off.
body, end of a great round.